Back with another episode of the Central Division Show. We're here every Monday, but we got a familiar face to some, but to this show, not as familiar, but you probably seen them talking some shit in the comments. But yeah, we're not even gonna do that. But yeah. How y'all feeling today on this Monday?
Start the show off early with the slander. What's going on, False? The Monday
Slander if
blues?
it's
I feel
true,
you.
like you said. You say.
Yes, you're right. It's not slander if it's true. What up, False? What else, Tate?
What's happening, gentlemen, man? Thanks for hosting this week, False. I don't got a lot to say because my team sitting down, well, everybody's team sitting down, except for
Right.
two fan bases. But I'm interested how the fan base feels in NYC, considering some people in attendance is going to be making a difficult game to attend.
Yeah, well, we're gonna leave certain aspects out of it, but yeah, we are getting ready for game 3 to tip off. We'll probably get done around the beginning of that, but yeah, we got a 2-0 game. New York is up, and the third game is in Madison Square Garden. I think we were about split down the middle as far as who we thought might win, but are we surprised? Do we see? Is this going to be a quick one, or how y'all see it playing out? Well, I guess we'll just start by breaking down what have we seen thus far.
What I've seen just thus far is Mitchell Robinson got Wemby shook in his boots. He run away from Mitch every time he out there. That's why they was doing that hack of Mitch, trying to get him off the floor. And he's, Wemby being 1,000 feet tall, he's doing fadeaways and all that, running away from the paint. Man, look, for as cold as he is, he got to cut that crap out. Yeah, you got enough of the fadeaways, enough of the fallaways, enough of the flopping. Uh, that's been the most poignant thing I've seen from the best player. I still think Wemby's the best player in this series, but other than that, the lack of experience has finally shown itself in these first two games because Spurs could have won both them games, but their immaturity gave them two L's instead.
Hey, I'll let you go before
I agree with Pay on several points. I do think. I mean, I'm gonna add to that. Part of it is coaching. Mike Brown's out coach Miss Johnson. I don't like Miss Johnson's rotations. As far as Wemby goes, I'll say Wemby. I mean, he's doing what he always has done, right? What he's successful at. A whole bag of mixing his game up. This series called for him to go down in the paint more, command double teams, take advantage of Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, but when Mitchell Robinson in the game, that's when you do want to pull him out, right? He's a good defender. He's a physical defender. So when Cat's in the game, you take advantage of the movement, you know, flashing down the paint for lobs and catching the ball in the paint. With Mitchell Robinson in the game, that's when you can get more in your bag because you're in your bag less when Mitchell Robinson's on the floor because that's when you really playing outside, facilitating more, shooting more jumpers and stuff like that because of the type of defender he is. But against Cat, you got to take advantage because that's the catalyst to make your offense go. I do agree with Pay when he said both teams. I mean, the Spurs could have won both games. I mean, to me, the Spurs played their best ball in the third quarter of game one. That's who the Spurs are. That's who the Spurs want to be. I mean, they played good. It was kind of a run where the Knicks couldn't hit a basket the fourth quarter of game two. But once they got to a tie game and the Knicks went up one, that OTA play out of ATO out of timeout play, I didn't like the call from a coaching perspective. Again, talk about the rotations. You get the ball to De'Aaron Fox. The play was obviously a pick and roll, right? For Wemby with De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox wasted 2 of the 7 seconds, 2 whole seconds at least, waiting on the pick. Wemby set the pick. Instead of rolling, he decides to pop and shoots a fadeaway jumper, which, no, you don't do that. You down one. You go to coach, draw it up. Go to the basket, whether it's Castle or Wemby. We need to go to the basket, draw a foul, hit a bucket or draw a foul. We make a free throw. We go in overtime. We make 2, we win. So I just didn't agree with the coaching, the play calling, and the rotation from Ms. Johnson. But the Knicks have had guys, Steph Brunson's, he's been clutch at the end of the game, but he's not having a great series. I mean, I think he's shooting like 30% overall field goal percentage. I mean, but you got guys like Bridges that stepped up this series more so. I mean, your doppelganger, False, and the little curly head Menudo looking dude. What's his name?
Landry Shamet. What is Menudo?
Wow.
Mulatto, you mean?
No, I mean Menudo.
What is
Worse.
that? What is that? I don't even know.
It's a pop music group from the '80s that were
Oh,
guys that look like Landry Shamet.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
come. I bring historical references sometimes. I mean, don't question what I say. Just put it in your Google machine.
Just not along, false.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because I ain't just messing nothing up. That's a Menudo.
No, I was just making sure it wasn't I don't want to say slur, but
You said it already. You might have
Oh yeah,
you ran over that speed bump already, false.
yeah.
yeah.
I didn't mean to steer you astray. If that's what happened. See,
Nah,
whatever you said, I don't know what you said was wrong. I don't know that.
no, that Pay know it. He heard it
Well,
before, I think.
I didn't hear. Pay know a lot of stuff I don't know.
We don't
Yeah.
need to stay on that one too much longer. But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been overall it's been a fairly even series. Like everybody said, there's definitely some opportunities for the Spurs to win either of those two games. But that's kind of unfortunate when you consider being 2-0, down 2-0, going to MSG, it's going to be hostile territory. People are paying thousands and thousands of dollars for these tickets. So they going to try to get their money's worth. They going to squeeze every bit of everything out of these next two games. So it's going to make it even more difficult for San Antonio. But yeah, game one, the Spurs were up for, I think, like 56 of the game. So they were in control. They had considerably large leads in both those games. So that's got to be pretty demoralizing from them. But we talked about it. The experience aspect as far as Mike Brown, he's got more experience, and the Knicks team. This team has taken some lumps. They've been sent home many a time. Brunson, Bridges, Towns. Dating back to the Timberwolves. So they're definitely battle tested. The game two, I mean that came down to the late seconds. Some bad shot selection from Wemby. He had a bad turnover where he tried to, pass the ball ahead to Fox. I think it was Fox.
It
Castle.
was Castle,
It was
but I
guys.
think
Yes.
that's more on Castle. He a guard. He got to turn around.
I mean, he certainly was expecting Wemby to push it, but yeah, as the guard.
It's what 13 seconds left in the game. Why you don't have your head on the swivel, bro? You the
Yeah.
guard. You bring up a good point about these guys, the Knicks with all the playoff scars that they have. It's not just that. They have a lot of postseason experience, even past the NBA. Go all the way back to college. You see the Spurs, it's a lot of one and dones. Wemby, he's from over there. Even you get the tournaments and whatever, but it ain't. You got Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges. They did that thing in Villanova for year on year on year. Cat, he's a one and done, but he won a championship at Kentucky. Castle in Connecticut. But then you got OG Anunoby. He's got an NBA championship with Toronto. Shaman's been around the block. All these guys are battle tested. They've seen these situations before, but no one's seen what you're going to see tonight at game 3. This is a situation. This is a home court situation that as the NBA has never seen. And the Spurs, with all their inexperience, they are going into a hornet's nest that you cannot even imagine.
Yeah. And when we talk about the role players, Josh Hart, I think he had 15 rebounds in one of those
Game
games. He had
one.
15.
Game one.
Game one.
Couldn't get messed up my parlay game too, but go on.
Yeah, but no, yeah, out of the, this guy's like 60, 6'5", and he says,
Mhm.
I may not be able to rebound like some of these other big men, but the rebounds I get are the ones that really break you because, those offensive rebounds, like as a fan, they're the ones that extend those possessions. Like those are the ones that are, even more demoralizing. So, Landry Shamet, these are guys that you're going to see get that spark from the crowd as well. I mean, who would have thought? I'm pretty sure Landry Shamet, I don't know when he first got there. I think he was there last year. But there was points in the year
He's been there for about 3 seasons. I think
been
so.
there for a minute. But I remember times where he wasn't even playing. He wasn't even like on the court. And he's logging 30 plus minutes in these games. So
Well,
I mean,
he really wasn't even playing up to the Cleveland series. He at some point in the Cleveland series, like game 2 maybe.
yeah.
Maybe even that game towards the end of that game 1 when they came back and he hit some shots. and he been playing since then. But against Atlanta, he didn't play a lot. I mean,
Right.
he wasn't getting a lot of tick till he got in and proved that his shooting and spacing adds to what everything else they got going on.
Right. And then those are those guys that you look back after a possible championship and you're like, man, you remember Landry Shamet? Like, of course, Brunson, he'll probably, right off into the sunset as an MVP or something like that. And some of those other starters will be remembered. All the Villanova guys, of course. Can't forget Josh Hart when you talk about championships.
Mhm.
I don't know if he won any with Brunson and them, but he was on
He
those.
he was on that one that pissed me off the most. We ain't got to talk about it too much, but yeah, he's got one.
Yeah.
We
At
ain't
the
got to talk
buzzer,
too
right?
much.
That was at the buzzer. I don't remember the shot.
I just figured, but
Well, the fact that he knew, that lets you know what game it was.
right. He said, we're not going to talk about it. Well, yeah, open yourself up to that
Context
one.
clue.
Right. But yeah, so, this team, that team has been through a lot. There was a lot of scrutiny going into the amount of draft picks that they, that took to get Mikal Bridges, no bias, but hey, he stepped up 20 points in one of those games. Once again, I always forget which one was which. It was either, I think it was a game one. One of
Yeah,
those
game
games,
Two.
he
one,
had
he
20.
bought up.
Game two.
Two.
Okay.
Or was game two? Yeah, he bought out game two. Hart bought out in game one.
Right. So yeah, they've fought through a lot and have a nice little storyline going into the rest of the series back in New York. But predictions, do we think the Spurs? Because I think that they go down 3-0. Wemby will probably about fall out and cry on the court if
Go cry.
on his, he gonna fall out like a baby, like on his head, like it's gonna be bad for him if they lose that game 3. Do we think they still won tonight?
I can't see them winning tonight. But if that same point, I can't see them winning. If they don't win tonight, they ain't gonna win game 4 either.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know if they get swept. I don't know if I want to go that far. But
That'd be
them
crazy.
being down 2-0, history shows right there. You lose the first 2 games of the finals at your crib, it's a wrap. The series is already over. History says. But the way that the Knicks won those first 2 games, and it just feels like the Spurs really. I mean, the Knicks took their best punch in game 2. I think they had a great defensive scheme for Brunson. They did the old Scottie Pippen on Magic Johnson thing. They checked him for 90 feet. They did, was grinding him all the way up the floor. They trapped him at half court. I think if you want to wear down Jalen Brunson, I mean, that's the way you do it, right? But it still came out to an L. I got the Knicks, and I've been saying Knicks in 6 this whole way. I mean, the Timbs is gonna stump, bro. I don't know.
Stump the cowboy boots.
I'm feeling like, I mean, everything pays. It's gonna be a Hornets Nest atmosphere tonight. But the Knicks have been playing well on a historic 13 straight wins now in the playoffs, right? But what we've seen, we've all said at the very beginning, each game was a game the Spurs could have won. Wemby played terrible in game 1. Yeah, he had numbers in game 2, but he didn't play well. He wasn't aggressive like he was in the game 7 and 6 against OKC. You have to see that win, but you have to see Castle not getting in foul trouble. And you have to see, I mean, they need to make shots. Vassell and Champagny. I had the Spurs going into this thing. I still got the Spurs. I think the Spurs are capable of winning in the Garden. But yeah, if they lose tonight, it's a wrap. I'll be ready to obviously to concede and say it's over if they lose tonight. But I think they can go in there and get one tonight. Just the players they need to play a good, clean game need to play a good, clean game.
Speaking of the night, the James Dolan, the guy that runs the Knicks, he's got a guest of honor. Over under 2.5 times the cameras show him sleeping.
Under, because you can't show him sleeping.
The camera has shown him sleeping, but they may not snap.
I get it, but the way the way the guest, what do you call like a guest that's like a high level guest, like a dignitary, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dignitary that's coming to the game is he's kind of stepping on the media. So especially ABC, which the game is on ABC. I don't think ABC want that smoke. I think cameramen have been directed to told them already, if you catch this joker sleep, don't show it. Would you find that hard to believe?
I would not find that hard to believe.
Yeah, so yeah,
The
so they won't catch him, but he might. It's loud
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's past his
Or
bedtime.
or he gonna get nah, he kinda get started around 9, 10 o'clock with on social media. For real, for real.
No, what he do is he take these little cat naps because he be up at like 3 tweeting, you know. Well, I don't know what they call it on that platform that he be throwing
Well,
his nonsense rants out,
you
but
can call it lying on
truth.
every platform, but go ahead.
yeah,
Ironically,
Wow,
he be
good one.
he
I didn't think
he be up at like 3, 4 in the morning throwing them out there, and then he probably take another nap around that time. But I know, bro is usually tucked away after having his 5 o'clock dinner. He's probably gone by this time. I don't. This is way past his bedtime. I don't even know why would you come to this. But go
but
on.
he go he's
Let's
got I
he's a
mean,
New Yorker,
I
right?
saw
Isn't he?
yeah, he's in
oh,
New York.
thank you.
I
Yeah,
mean,
not
but
a real New Yorker, but
the people in New York haven't voted for the individual. I saw a news story earlier where they anticipating and this the over under pay. Over under 75% of the fans boo him.
That's hard to quantify. But New York is crazy. You know what I'm saying? They might even mess with him. They still was like, man, we don't care about you. It's the Knicks. The Knicks is on. Whatever. Get this guy out the way. They will run over a grandmother in the street on one of them city bikes if it meant getting to the Knicks viewing party or whatever. Yeah,
Well,
those are fun.
they can't have one of them though. Not like Jurassic Park for Toronto Raptors
Right.
because it's security perimeter.
too
The
many
closest
people.
you could be is like some area in Central Park. They set up an area. So
Mhm.
true Knicks fans who've been down with the Knicks who would be outside if it was January 1st game down in Times Square and that cold would be out there because this gentleman is coming. It just messes up everything for true New York Knicks fans because this guy wants the attention on himself.
Don't let New York be up late and he's still there. It's gonna be chaos. They going over them stanchions. Now, all them blockades is getting ran over. It's gonna create
There's a
it's gonna
lot
create a
of people,
problem.
a lot of bodies down there.
This game tonight. Yeah, we got to be done by like 8:30. I don't think tip off to 8:42. But yeah, it's a lot of reasons to tune into this broadcast tonight. More than just the game, right? Just it's just an event.
But with that said, I think the Spurs pull off the win tonight. They just can't get swept. And like we said, game 4, if they down 3-0, it ain't even gonna make sense to even try for real, for real. I don't know if they, game planned and found a way to slow Brunson down, but he did shoot 28% from the field. Yeah, he had 20 points, but he shot 28% from the field. Josh Hart had 0 points in the game. It was only because Landry Shamet gave him something that, the Spurs didn't get the win in the game. So we'll see, but I think that they'll find a way to make something happen to where this series gets extended back to at least back to San Antonio for game 5. We are back. As Tate mentioned early on, all our teams are definitely sitting at home. They are well into the off season mode, trades, draft, all the above. But the question is, what can we do to get to the next level, get to that stage? For the Bulls, that's next level, just getting into the playoffs, getting out of the play-in realm. And for the Cavs and Pistons, we ought to have, championship aspirations. We made some moves here and there in the playoffs. So yeah, we're gonna talk the draft. We're gonna talk about some potential prospects that might be in the range of what we can obtain. Starting with the Bulls, where are you guys drafting? You guys got 2 first rounders, correct?
The Bulls are the number 4 and the number 15 picks in this upcoming draft.
Okay, all right, that's pretty exciting. You guys got some new. Should have a new head. You don't have a head coach yet, right?
They are circling things down. The list is shrinking as some other teams have taken some of the prospects away from the Bulls, but the Bulls have been doing a lot of interviewing. I have heard from my uninformed sources that they should be making a hire within the next 10 days.
10 days, and we only got what 14 to the draft. I'm listening to 20.
I think
24.
it's 3 weeks from yesterday. From
Okay, so you guys should have a head
one
coach
game, two and a half
before
weeks.
before you draft. What is just I think Mara might go early to the Thunder if they decide to let Harden sign. Another tall guy,
Mhm.
tall rim protector. All right, I'm not mad at that because I'm sure they got a lottery pick. That's just how they do.
Yeah, that's how they do championships and lottery picks. That's
Hmm.
the Lakers had number 1 overall pick after winning the championship and got James Worthy and turned that into the whole Showtime Lakers
Damn, I was gonna say when was
after winning
this?
the championship. Yeah, 82 draft.
Rick and Zeke would really like for the Bulls to hire Chris Quinn. He's a assistant with the Miami Heat. Obviously, with Miami Heat, they do need the whole culture thing. They have a they
Right.
have a they have a system. They have a bona fide way of how to do things. The Bulls, it's been pretty just throw things at the wall and see what happens, right? So having somebody come in with the actual system of understanding of player development, and I mean that's where it starts. Understanding having a culture and then having some player development, and then the wins will come after that. You will hope, but I think that would be a great hire for the Bulls. I would like that for my boys, Zeke and Rick. I mean that they want them, so I want them to be happy. They've suffered it.
Right.
I
So
like Sam Cassell too.
has he?
I
He's
mean,
never been a head coach.
never been a head coach,
Yeah.
but
He's been grinding for a long time.
Chris Quinn would be a good hire, and I agree with Pay when he's talking about it. When you want somebody that will create a culture, bring some of that Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley, some of that. You can't bring the culture, right? But I
Mm,
think you can bring what you learned to implement your own. Like we see a lot in football, right? I
mhm,
think also Chris Quinn bringing a bit of a younger coach and bringing his players in. Not one, he knows how to identify developmental staff. So I think he would improve the developmental staff. You got first couple good young picks. You got young players, get them involved, and that's the culture starts with the young people you bring in from the foundation up. So I definitely agree that would be a good direction to take for the Bulls.
Yeah. And so yeah, he
And,
coached, but he also
I think
played for Miami. And
Rick and Zeke happy.
yeah,
right.
Chris Quinn is a former player.
I think he played for the Cavs too for a stretch, a small stretch. I think.
So you guys got two. I guess 14's not a lottery. Is 14 a lottery pick?
Not right now, but it will be in the future.
Right, when they extend it. So, but yeah, but two top 15 picks. So who are some of the
What about
prospects that you're
14 not a lottery pick now? I thought
Bulls have the 15th pick.
15.
15? Okay. All right. So who are you guys looking at? You got definitely got a, you know, I think top 5 you really can't lose. As far as beyond that, it might be more of a toss up. But who are you guys looking at?
I think you know who I would like the Bulls to draft. The C in Chicago stands for Caleb. Caleb's have done the city really well. You got all the way back to Caleb Haney. You got the Madden cover boy right now.
I
If
don't
you
know,
bring
Caleb.
Caleb Wilson from the University of Basketball, otherwise known as the University of North Carolina, I think that is a home run draft pick for the Bulls. Obviously, if you've been paying attention to all the workouts that's been going on, the combine, his name is ringing out. The shot to steal a phrase from The Wire, Go TV show. His stock might be rising. He might actually come off the board before the Bulls picking number 4. I know a lot of Bulls fans they like Darius Acuff. Do the Bulls need another guard? They need one better than the guards they have now. Darius Acuff is a fan favorite for a lot of guys in the Bulls with the Bulls, and also you got Keaton Wagler, freshman star out of Illinois. Bring the local kid up. I think he's a guard, but he can play wing because he's got the size. I think he's about 6'5", 6'6", around that way. So you add him in the same backcourt with Giddy. You're building something. I know, exciting whites, but
Right.
you're starting to get you're starting to get a sense of building up some length. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the Bulls have a litany of small guards. They don't have a lot of bigs, which pivot to that 15 pick. If the Bulls were lucky to see Yaxel out of Michigan, your boy B Foster, or let's see Montez Johnson, or what's my man name, Dallin Swain from Texas, I think they will be. I think that would be a great draft for them. And you got, like I said, you got 2 picks in the top 15. You want to start you wanna add some length to the squad as, as I said litany of times, they don't have a lot of length as it is right now. I think they got 1 sitter on the roster that's signed through next year. So, if they were able to, 1, get a dynamic playmaker in Caleb Wilson if they got lucky, that would be a great because he's 6'10", and he's got good floor. He's got a good floor game. I think he's a poor man's KG. I think he's got that in his bag. If he's to hone that in together, obviously make some strides on the defensive side of the floor. But if he can, I think that's his ceiling. Kevin Garnett towards type of ceiling. And if they come back around and pick 15, get another big, possibly best player available. I'm always going best player available. I think Swain, Montez, Yaxel, players like that would be a great haul for Chicago.
Yeah, I like the upside of Caleb Wilson. He reminds me more of like a Andrew Wiggins. Is that crazy?
In what way?
Tall wing, you know, did needed to work on the jump shot, but the upside was crazy from the athletics perspective. Maybe he's more of a power. You think he's more of a power forward than
Yeah, he's definitely more of a four. He can work on his J. He can expand his range. Obviously, I mean most kids can because there's a difference between what you can do in AAU level and at the college level. But the NBA jump is totally different.
but yeah, I think that, push come to shove, it's going to be between Boozer. If Boozer goes third to, I mean, if Wilson goes third to the Jazz, then, Boozer will be left over because Peterson and Devanson will probably go the first two. So, but yeah, as far as the 15 range, yeah, some of those guys from Michigan would be nice. High ceiling, high floor, low ceiling type picks just to add some more talent to the roster. So I don't know about Wagner going fourth though. I think that's a little early for him. But
Can
yeah,
I
yeah,
give
yeah.
give a point? Caleb Caleb Wilson. I mean, I think he's a good player. Let's from our pay, put it out there. They like Caleb Wilson if he's at four, right? Because we're assuming the three guys in the graphic there, the Banster, Peterson, and Boozer will go one, two, three.
Right.
Now Boozer could fall right one spot probably. But I think if it was me and the Bulls, I like Acuff better at four, but I like what's available at 15 potentially off the players he said. Like if I get Acuff and what's the dude name from Michigan? I could get
Yaxel.
Yaxel or
Yaxel. If I
no.
could get Acuff and Yaxel or get Acuff and a big, then get Caleb Wilson, and then the people he said at 15 wasn't nobody no guard, right? So you still guard deficient in Chicago versus taking somebody that's been compared to an AI. So and the comp to KG, maybe in physical traits and stuff like that, but
Right.
so much of KG's game on the court was his mentality. I don't see Caleb Wilson having that type of mentality also. So when you make that comparison, you can compare the wingspan, the height, and all that, the game, but so much of what he did was part of the passion and attitude on the court.
Just from a bag perspective or from a skill perspective, I think that's a sensible ceiling. Obviously, a lot of these players never hit the ceiling. So, but that's why the draft is more so based on projections. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because you see a great ceiling. Oh man, if this kid hits all, he does everything he's supposed to do, he could be a Hall of Famer. He has a Hall of Fame ceiling or something like that. That's how get like that. I missed the name that the Bears, not the Bears, but the Bulls could really hit a home run at 15. Nate Ahmet out of Tennessee, 6'10". As we've done shows, doing draft shows up to the last month on the Frustrated Child Sports Fan channel, his ceiling might be one of the highest out of the top 20 guys in the draft. So
So even with that guy, you would prefer Acuff and the ceiling of that guy as a big than getting Caleb Wilson at 10 and taking. I mean, to me, Acuff is more of a short thing because he's a guard. We've seen him score 40 in March Madness, big tournament games and stuff like that. We didn't see Caleb Wilson play. He was hurt, wasn't he?
Caleb missed the tournament because he was hurt. Yeah, you're right. But you're right. there's a lot of great talent in this draft. I don't think
Yeah.
you can go wrong in any of the first 9 picks unless you do something ridiculous like Minnesota Timberwolves and just draft what's his face while Curry's on the board. I mean, great.
Flynn was sweet though.
Flynn, but yeah,
Was
but
he?
you left Steph Curry at the time. In fairness to what Pay's saying, but Curry balled in the tournament too. But Curry was at Davis in a small school. He got
Had
hot.
the,
You
had
know,
the bad feet.
yeah. He kind of
He had bad feet yet. He had bad feet yet, but Flynn was short. He was already undersized coming into the league.
Johnny
Johnny
Flynn.
Flynn.
Johnny
Yeah, he
Flynn,
was.
I liked Johnny Flynn. I'm not gonna lie.
But that's just it. We like all these guys based off where they coming out AAU high school rankings, a year in college. But then the guy, like he said, Amen, may have much more upside than we are really aware of that could really turn into something. You know what I mean? So I think you think about it. You go with the surest thing early, then you don't take shots with a top 7 pick, right? You take your shots in the second part, the mid part of the round. You draft the potential and talent, just like in football to me.
Yeah, I agree. There we go. All right, so let's get to the Cavs. Go. Let's push little heads now, or not even.
Whoa.
We
Like you
got
can't hey, you can't even say smaller botches and get away with
yeah. There was not much I could do there, but
it.
why we get the Barclays Center in the background? I don't even know. Oh, that's where
That's
the
what
draft takes place.
is that.
Okay,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, so break down who you got because I don't really. Okay, Pay actually did bring up one of these guys, but take it away, Pay.
Yeah,
No,
which lets me know the talent of the draft because Pay named somebody at 15 who has been mocked to the Cavs, and one of the most frequently mocked persons to the Cavs is that pick Swain we picked 29. Now, the thing about and these players, I like is it Pete? I like him. His brother played in the NFL, so he
Coa
got
Pete.
Koa Pete, yeah. His brother actually played for the Steelers his last year, but played in the NFL, was a Pro Bowl lineman for the Chiefs, I believe, the Saints. The Saints for quite a few years. So yeah, he has the athletic, DNA profile. I watched him play in the tournament. He plays a strong game. I mean, I would have thought he would have been like a top 10 pick watching the tournament. Now, it's more and more, the combine has happened and more profile prospects are coming out. I hear and see some of his deficiencies, but I like the upside 29 where you take one of the even pays boys, if Basir as a potential backup big to develop. If you're going to potentially trade Jared Allen, I mean, because I don't even know if the Cavs make this pick. This could be part of a package in a trade deal too, because as you mentioned earlier, Foss, it's like different tiers of where we at, right? I mean, the Pistons and the Cavs are looking for right now pieces. The Bulls are looking for developmental pieces, new coach, new staff. We got to grow this thing culturally and stuff like that. So I'm not even sure if the Cavs make this pick, but I like all these players that have been potentially mocked there. I think they're probably in order of the way I would pick them. I like Koa Pete. I think he could be like a small size 4, 6'7", but physical, kind of like your boy False, be Stu. Be one of those type players. Not quite. I mean, plays a big man position play, but it's based off strength and wingspan more than it is just the height, right? So I like that. Now I like Vasir because he's a seven footer with high basketball IQ that can shoot range. You don't believe in it on your squad? You don't believe in his range?
Me and Rick, who's usually does this show, doing great work for the basketball division of Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Shout out to Rick and Zeke. We argued during the season about Henry Vassar being a first round draft pick. I said there's no reason for him to go ahead and leave and go to the league because he's not getting drafted in the first round. I don't see a first round talent out of him. Now, if somebody else drafts him, good for him. And I wish him all the best. I just don't see it, man. And the IQ is the part that I'm shaking my head on because the season ended because he had a lack of IQ. But like I said, I wish him the best.
But okay, I'll just add that. See, but that's the difference in picking at 4 and picking at 29. This is a team that if you're gonna make a draft pick, you drafting like OKC does all the time, right? They don't draft nobody for right now. They draft they come off the bench and a year or two later, like, damn, they got him too. You know what I mean? Even trading for AJ Mitchell with Philadelphia, right? I mean, so to me, if you can get that guy and develop in your room, you get him a year early. And I feel like the Cavs have had a good developmental team the past 4 or 5 years. I mean, Dean Wade's come up from that. Sam Merrill's come up from that. They've had several, even Naquan Tomlin. They've had several players that weren't drafted that played, for the charge in the developmental cycle of the Cavs spinning wheel that have come up. So I think if
Couldn't
we can
do it
get
with
him,
Bates.
I'm sorry.
Couldn't do it with Amani Bates, but either
Nah,
did.
Amani was jacking up too many shots, man. I mean, he balled out for the charge, though. I mean, he was scoring like 27, 28 a game, but that didn't fit when you have Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. That's not going to be your role. So,
Right.
we got to make roster construction based decisions and not just pure talent decisions when we know you want to shoot 15 times a game. It ain't 15 shots for the eighth guy off the bench, right? So
Yeah,
I
Proctor
think
too.
yeah, I think and Proctor, which is why I get into why they might not make this pick. You're gonna see the Cavs next year with Tyrese Proctor having a bigger role, Jalen Tyson. Right now, the Cavs are deciding they got to let 3 or 5 players go
Mm.
between Max Strus and False. I don't know what you think about. It's been I don't know if you're on your end, but our end has been talking about Max Strus and
Stu.
B Stewart
I
trade.
saw
Yeah,
that.
would you do that?
Oh my God. Having to take to sending Stu to a divisional opponent just
Well,
sounds like
send
a
this Strus. I'm thinking the same way you think.
man, but Stu though, oh my God. That's crazy.
He might have some animosity at y'all.
For sure.
But
For
no,
sure.
so the 5 players keeping 2, maybe 3, depending on what kind of wiggle room you can manage as far as contractually. But between Max Strus, Sam Merrill, Dean Wade, Dennis Schroeder, and Keon Ellis. So Cash can keep 2 for sure of those 5 guys. So, I mean, to me, if I'm picking, I got to probably take Pete and maybe let Dean Wade go and get Jalen Tyson more starting time because Dean Wade probably going to get the mid-level exception could be between 12 and 15 million. He's making 6 now, but his offensive production and him being a starting lineup, just he doesn't warrant being a starter. He doesn't warrant getting paid that kind of money. So somebody just for some team that has the cap space and needs that kind of wing defender position could offer him some more than the Cavs are willing to pay him. So he could be one of the ones going. Max Strus is a valuable trade chip. 1 year left on his contract at 16 million. You know what I mean? You trade him in a trade for a piece that more fits when you got Tyrese Proctor in the queue. You got Jalen Tyson going to get more minutes. I mean, so it's all about the roster. I think Strus is a great player. I love the way Max Strus plays and his mentality, right? Which to me would fit Detroit perfectly. More
Hey, he was
shooting, a better defender than your other dudes. What's the guy from Miami?
Duncan.
Duncan Robinson and the dude y'all traded for the Bulls for. He didn't hurt her.
Yeah.
I mean, Max Strus can shoot like those guys and still play defense and play with a toughness that matches Detroit's culture.
I mean, he was in K back pocket. He was pesky in a couple of
Yeah, he's
those
a
games.
defender. He gave if you look at the breakdown, per possession breakdown, when he guarded Jalen Brunson was trash too, far as
Mm,
statistically.
that's crazy.
He's a great defender, but he just don't do enough on offense.
So yeah, so that rounds up the Cavalier potential prospects. We'll get to the Pistons last but not least. Just to put you guys in the perspective of what the Pistons are looking for, they are looking for some secondary playmaking, somebody that can provide some offensive, some offensive spurts off the bench or, possibly a potential starter down the road. So pretty much everybody that we have listed are guards. We don't have any big men that are heavily mocked to Detroit. I want to start with Cameron Carr. Now, this is somebody that has worked out for the Pistons, and when I look at their film, he's probably my favorite out of this trio. He's hyper athletic. He's a two-way guard slash wing, and this guy's got a 7'2" wingspan, 40-inch vert. Very exciting tape. He's got player comps to guys like Levine and Trey Murphy, ironically enough, because that's somebody that we've been rumored to be interested in trade-wise. But yeah, ultimately just, hyper athletic 3-level scorers. But, he's an elite. He's a a strong shooter. He shoots about 40% in catch and shoot situations. And I think that he will be a nice upgrade eventually over like a Duncan Robinson, a Karis LeVert. Definitely has the size and athleticism over even a Dennis Jenkins. He's good off the ball. He finished in the 99th percentile as far as cutting in off ball cutting situations. He's lethal in the fast break. And, with his height and, wingspan, he has the potential to be a nice 3-and-D type option. He can kind of get in the passing lanes and, just the idea of a Cameron Carr on the same court as an Asar Thompson and a Ron Holland. It sounds pretty electric, and we need a guy that can shoot the ball. Obviously, those guys are athletic and can get to the basket, but you got to have that floor spacing too. So, 40 in catch and shoot opportunities would be a nice balance when you got, guys like Cade and Dennis Jenkins who can play make and get the ball to him. So that's my favorite out of the trio. But another guy that we're being linked to quite a bit is Isaiah Evans, who's kind of like a movement shooter. He's 6'6", but he's a lot more pretty skinny guy. Not like the graphic. This guy is about 6'6", 180. Reminds me kind of Brandon Evans. Brandon Evans went to Duke as well, but Brandon Evans was a better creator off the dribble. Isaiah Evans is best. Well, they're both last names Evans. I swear. Ingram. Am I saying Brandon Evans? Brandon Ingram was a guy that he kind of compares to in my eyes, but Isaiah Evans is more of an off the ball shooter and movements that catch and shoot off of screens, stuff of that nature. He's got pretty long arms. He's got 6'9" to 6'11" wingspan, so he's got that same potential to be a 3-and-D wing guy. But what he needs to work on is his creation. He doesn't really, he works mostly off ball and off screens. He's not one that can create with his own dribble. Now, the last guy we're talking about is Bennett Sturs. This guy is a guard out of Iowa, and he's already 23 years old, so he's more of a finished product. But in a way, that's kind of what we need. He's got that floor general potential. He can kind of, run the show, but he's also a pretty good shooter as well. So he doesn't have to be the primary point guard, but in situations where you want Cade to, relax a little bit and you need somebody else to take it up the court. Bennett Sturs can definitely be that guy. He's pretty polished and he can spread the floor pretty well. He's got a high IQ and he's a guy that can play a lot of minutes. At Iowa, he averaged nearly 40 minutes a game. So you don't have to worry about.
He had a hell of a tournament too.
Yeah,
He
he
balled
did.
out tournament.
Absolutely. And I want to say he transferred from somewhere else.
Smaller school, yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, he's bounced around a little bit, but he got the opportunity to run the show in Iowa. And they went. Well, actually, I'm thinking of Purdue. I don't know how far Iowa went, but
Iowa and Purdue both made the Elite Eight.
Elite Eight. Okay, yeah. So yeah, he's definitely battle tested. He's a vet. He'll be 23 in October actually. But as far as the weaknesses for him, not the most athletic guy. I mean, he's about 6'3" and he's not a cone out there, but he definitely has a lack of explosiveness and has some defensive liabilities due to his physical limitations. He's not one of those guys that has big, rangy, long arms. So yeah, I would say out of the three, he would be my least favorite, but I do like his playmaking abilities. He could compete for that backup point guard role, and he should be good to go right away because he's, been around. He's already, pushing 23 years old. So those are the guys that I'm seeing. Those are the guys that I'm seeing projected to the Pistons at 21. As Tate says, that pick could be something as part of a bigger, trade down the line. And we should be seeing stuff like that, certainly during the draft day. You're going to see some moves from some of these teams that really don't need more prospects and young guys. They need more finished products. So
can I ask just, we talked about the prospects, but what moves do you see the Pistons making in totality, like past the draft? I mean, like what do you need? What's being talked about? What are the Pistons trying to do? What's the latest with your boy Duran in his contract?
So I'm seeing different I'm seeing different things as far as whether or not they're close to a deal. And the last that we reported was that there might have been some gap in between what Durham wants and what Detroit would be willing to part with. But as far as the trades are concerned, they're definitely saying that Isaiah Stewart, as he has for the last couple years, is drawing some interest. I'm hearing like you talk about Max Strus for Isaiah Stewart, which would be spicy and interesting for sure. But I'm also hearing teams like Boston and New Orleans. New Orleans already has its Pistons connections because that's where Weaver is. But that's a tricky one because Isaiah Stewart is a big part of kind of setting the tone for what Detroit is known for defensively. I think that it could possibly be between Stewart and Ron Holland. I think that you can't part with both of them because that would take a lot out of our hustle and defensive category. But, the emergence of Paul Reed kind of makes him expendable, especially if we plan on dropping the big bag on Duran. That money is already kind of out the way. So, Stewart's kind of got a friendly-ish deal. We signed him a couple of summers ago, I think for like $80 million for 4 or 5 years. So it's pretty comfortable, it's pretty favorable, if you need a defensive presence down low. So I don't know that's going to be it's going to be a sad day when Stewart goes, but he's been around. It's been a nice run. And I don't want to say he got exposed in the playoffs, but he wasn't really very effective by the time we got to Cleveland. So
How old is Beast Stew?
he's still only like 24 because he was one and done. He was like 19 when he got drafted. So he's not as old as he may appear. He is 25. So
Yeah, see, I mean, I like that for both teams, really. But the tough part is in division, right? Gonna see that guy 5 or 6 times.
and he gonna play. He gonna play super hard just for the Pistons, if nothing else. So yeah, he just
Well,
turned
Max
25 in
Strus
May.
would too, though. Now, I mean,
He
not the
would.
physicality, but he's scrappy.
Yeah, yeah, he is. He is. Yeah, he was pissing me off during the playoffs for sure. What did he say? He said BPA for Pistons, but a best player available, but it's a power forward. That's a plus. Yeah. I don't see a lot of promising power forwards once you get past the Caleb Wilsons and I don't know. But that guy from Texas, I got to do some more research on him because that's my first time really kind of hearing.
Swan,
Yes, when.
he's more of a 3, 6'8", 225, but he's physical.
Okay.
I mean, I think he's more of a true wing, a 3. He
Yeah.
gets downhill. He shoots a high percentage from the free throw. 'Cause I've done the because of Cavs keep. I did a little look at him. Hits a lot of free throws, get to the basket, and is a good defender. I mean, he's a good player. I just wouldn't classify him as a 4.
And it's funny you say 6'8". I mean, that's how tall Isaiah Stewart is. He's about 6'8". After Duran's playoff performance, he shouldn't ask for a whole lot. Yeah, but I'm sure they'll lean into the all NBA team, the All-Star, and what he did in the regular season. So I don't know. Stewart is one of the best defensive bigs in the game. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
So,
but as a player, you ask for what you can get. That's what you ask for.
right. Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. But
Don't tell me I shouldn't ask for a lot. I'm gonna ask for as much as I can have. Now you decide what you're willing to give me, but I'm gonna ask for it.
yeah, he should definitely ask for what he need to ask for, even if he falls short of that. But it's also going to come down to what other teams are willing to pay him because the Pistons can always match it, but at the same time, it may bloat, his you know his ending contract just because of what somebody else offers. So that's an interesting situation that we have to deal with. So we'll see. I'll be glad when it's all over with. So, but we're about at the 54-minute mark, and the game starts in a couple minutes. I'll let you guys. We'll go around the room and talk about what you guys got coming up.
Over here at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel, you should come check us out. We are your one-stop shop for all Chicago things, sports, city news, and then just a whole bunch of crazy nonsense. But we do have some unfortunate news in the NBA community served up to you coming out of the Bulls. Former Big 8 Player of the Year, key member of the Bulls' first three-peat, and iconic analyst, Stacey King, passed away over the weekend. Just sad. No word yet on any homegoing services, but I'm sure it'll be well attended by a lot in the NBA community. He's touched a lot of people and right where you want to touch them, right in the heart, right in their basketball fields. For those of you unaware, there's no way you can be a Derrick Rose fan without also being a Stacey King fan. If D Rose was the main actor of a movie or the Bulls movie, Stacey King was a narrator. There's no Derrick Rose highlight that you don't have Stacey King in the background. He basically was the voice of the last great Chicago Bulls era. He had the whole city yelling out his catchphrases. He was on some he was on some what's my man name? ESPN. Can't think of it right now. But
Rap? No.
no, he had the whole city yelling out his catchphrases, and we all knew what he meant. Give me some hot sauce. We all knew what that meant. Don't do it to him, Joe. They ain't ready. Everybody had it, and he just illuminated a whole fan base in ways that it's really hard to even put into quantitative words. You know what I mean? If you and you had to be a Bulls fan to even remember this. The guys who were calling games before Neil Funk and Stacey King, Tom Dorr, Norm Van Leer, guys like that, boring. Even though those are greats. Norm Van Leer's a Hall of Famer. Well, he's a Bulls Hall of Famer. But going from that and going to Stacey King was night and day. And Stacey King helped lift up this franchise and into heights that only he can do. I don't know what the Bulls are going to do when they resume play in 26-27, but I know they're going to do one big. If anything, if that Derrick Rose for jersey retirement means anything, if they've shown you one thing, they can celebrate their own. They're going to probably put a microphone in the rafters, probably put a jersey patch on the Bulls. Hopefully they do both. Hopefully they do both because Stacey King is a legend. He's a legend with the Bulls and all of Sea Red Nation. Rest in peace, big homie.
Yeah, man, I'll just, kind of second what Pay said. Stacey King was a great collegiate basketball player, was a good backup big for the first three-peat of Bulls championship runs, supplanted my guy, Ohio State guy Brad Sellers at the time, got more critique than old Brad Sellers. But this is why I know he was good at his job, as Pay said. Hated Stacey King as an analyst and have to hear Bulls broadcast. Hated it, which means he did his job, right? So, shout out to Stacey King. I remember when, he took Oklahoma Sooners to the national championship game. They just happened to run into Danny and the Miracles, Danny Manning. I believe the 89 national championship game. And Danny Manning he was the first player overall pick, I believe, by the Clippers that year. But yeah, Stacey King was a dude, especially in college. So shout out to him. As far as where you can find me, take the Know It Alls podcast channel. We cover a lot of Steeler stuff, a lot of just general sports stuff. I have a show every Sunday, the Know It All show, where we talk about all the sports, the sports sphere, right? The landscape of sports, talk about everything. Different shows during the week. We got some different, sports, social, political shows that not quite, I won't say political, sports, social shows that we do, and just different stuff. But yeah, I also do a couple shows on the Steel Curtain Network, Fans First Sports Network. It's all Fans First Sports Network, audio related. But yeah, so tap in, check it out. Actually got a show this Friday with the homie Pay right there. The homies every Friday night, we talk AFC North football and anything else we feel like talking about. So tap into that, tap into the Know It Alls, like, subscribe. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me, B False, again this week.
Absolutely. And you can catch us on Bleachers to Speakers or our post-game podcast for all your Detroit Pistons coverage as we get closer to the draft. Every Wednesday, NFC North show, and every Sunday, Corner to Copa for Detroit Tigers coverage. We're climbing up out of the basement, trying to make a half-ass run before the trade deadline. We'll see what happens with Tarek Skubal and all that, because he just had a rehab start. So we should be back in a Tigers uniform real soon. So a lot going on in Detroit. So check us out. And let's get to this game 3 of the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden. Let's get up out of here.